Afternoon. Thank you all for joining us for Narcan training. We're going to go ahead and start with a welcoming prayer from Miss Jill.
Good evening. Maybe we will begin with a moment of silence, that we may, in our silence, come here with great gratitude that we can all be together here this evening. And most importantly, that we're honoring those who we have lost, that will forever be in our hearts, that give us the courage to go on and help others. And I invite you to join me in my prayer and your prayer within your own tradition, whatever that may be, as you come forward in your heart to your intentions for this evening and for your mission. Oh, Holy One, I give you thanks for your presence here with us tonight. Be with us as we gather. We come with so many emotions. We come with sorrow and grief and frustration. We come with fear and questions. Help us to feel held. Help us to be encouraged. Help us to be here together and know strength comes in numbers. As we hold one another together, listening to one another's stories, help us to have an open heart, a compassionate heart. Help us to open our ears and our minds to what we might learn today, how we can go forward and work again on this mission, bringing our neighbors together, our community together, and knowing this is a worldwide topic that we have great concern over. We ask this all in great courage, hope, and love. Amen.
Amen. Well, good evening. I'm Mayor Will Haney, and I want to officially welcome you to Mount Pleasant Town Hall for this evening. I'm not sure, Nancy, how many of these we have done now. Huh? Okay. I knew it was a lot. And it is one of the most wonderful evenings every year and one of the hardest evenings every year. And so I'm grateful to see y'all here. You might notice our shirts. We didn't have these before. These are our Town of Mount Pleasant in partnership with Wake Up Carolina shirts. And we had the privilege of wearing these team shirts up in Greenville in July. Because of this partnership, we were given a statewide award, which is wonderful. Awards are wonderful. We will take them. We're proud of them. We're proud of the people who make them happen. Wake Up Carolina, our dedicated police officers. But you know what? We would trade every award for one life. We would trade every award for the heartbreak that families feel. And if you're here tonight and you are struggling with this, or it has affected your family, you are not alone. It has affected our family, and our loved one came within 2 minutes of dying. So we have gotten that call in the night, and we count our blessings every day that he survived. We did not have a tragic ending, but that's not the case for everybody. And we have learned, Suzette and I have learned one thing: the only way you get through these type crises is together and with people like Nancy and Dean and others who have been there for us when we have had questions and we have had struggles. Because if you have one who is living in recovery, you know it's not one day, it's every day. It's one day after another after another. And so by being here for this Narcan training, you're helping change the script for somebody, maybe a family like ours, who won't lose a loved one. It could be a stranger on the street. It could be someone you know. And I just love the fact that you're here. It says so much about our community. And thank you for being here to do this. And I hope you will join us outside when we're finished.
Good evening. My name is Steve Coudron. I'm the sergeant over our community wellness unit for the Mount Pleasant Police Department. Part of that responsibility is to coordinate follow-up and tracking of incidents of overdoses within our jurisdiction. So this issue became really real to me in 2017. I was on patrol, and in my district, I had 2 fatal overdoses in one week. So one of those stories leads to kind of a law that's been passed. I'm going to tell it real quick. The first one I responded to was two brothers in their 20s, had a female friend over, also in her 20s, and they described what we now know as agonal breathing. They weren't sure at first; they thought it was a joke, something's funny, oh, she's snoring or whatever it was. Then they realized it became real for them, like, hey, this looks like she's probably overdosing. Unfortunately, the focus that they had was to clean up the scene before calling for help. So she ended up passing, unfortunately, and it brings me to our next point, which is the Good Samaritan law that was passed to prevent just that type of instance from occurring. So the Good Samaritan law prevents people from being charged with possession, alcohol offenses as well. So that applies to younger kids who might be worried that they're going to get in trouble for even having alcohol or whatever. But the whole point is to try to facilitate people calling for help first, because the first thing we prioritize is life and safety. So the criteria to meet the threshold is very low for that. You have to call 911. You have to use your proper name. You have to stay on scene until first responders arrive. You have to believe that you're the first one calling. That's pretty low threshold. And you need to cooperate with first responders when they get there. Now, cooperation does not mean for an investigation. Cooperation is about figuring out what somebody took, when they took it, what else might be in their system. So it's, again, all just to try to save a life and respond to the scene and give the medical folks the information they need. So that's a great law, and we try to get the word out on that, and that's part of what we do in our monthly Narcan training as well. Within the town of Mount Pleasant, this year we have had 12 non-fatal overdoses, 6 fatal overdoses. Those numbers are small compared to a lot of neighboring jurisdictions. But the way I always look at it is six fatal overdoses is basically 6 branches from 6 different family trees that have lost a pretty critical branch. So it's very serious, obviously, all across the nation. And we also kind of we changed what we do. We used to have officers follow up on these overdose cases, and a lot of times people they're not responsive, they don't want to answer the door, they're afraid they might be in trouble for something. So part of it was just recognizing that we're not the best person, we're not the best entity to do the follow-up. So that leads to our partnership with Wake Up Carolina. And we do believe that follow-up starts right at the scene, not days later, weeks later. So one of the things we did to modify our response is we leave these that are called link to resource kits at the scene with either the person who's going to the hospital, hopefully going to the hospital, or at the scene, or with a family member or a friend that's there. And contained in here is some PPE, so there's some gloves, there's a CPR face mask, there are 2 doses of Narcan, and a card with a QR code that will bring you right to the Wake Up site and the Town of Mount Pleasant website for referral information. Wake Up does our follow-up. They're notified as I'm notified, so it's quick and immediate. We use a software system called SIMS to communicate that, but right away when I get the notification that we've had an overdose, they're getting the same notification, so they're following up again as close to immediately as possible. So, and we've been looking to just trim that timeline down as much as we can. So right now it's down to a few hours. So at this point, I will pass it over to Sarah Halls from the Charleston Center. Thank you.
Hello, I want to thank you all for being here. We are so grateful for our partnerships with Wake Up Carolina and Mount Pleasant and our efforts to end the opioid overdose epidemic. Providing Narcan training is a crucial step in equipping the community members with the knowledge and tools needed to save lives. And I will hand it over to Nancy Stedman Shipman with Wake Up Carolina.
Can everybody hear me? I'm terrible with microphones. So I'm Nancy Stedman Shipman. I'm the executive director and founder of Wake Up Carolina. We're a recovery community organization, and we believe in promoting awareness, providing education with hope and recovery for young adults, individuals, and families touched by substances. We do this through collaborative community partnerships, trusted resources, and support services. This is personal to me. And I can stand up here and say that I'm the director and I'm the founder, but I've had a really hard week because of all the lives that have impacted. Every year is hard, but this year it's really hit my heart a lot harder. It's been 8 years since I lost my son, and there are a lot of faces that are friends of people we've served. There's lots of new families that are on this walk, and there's also new allies, people that haven't been impacted or touched that want to be part of their community and reduce the stigma. Stigma's killing people. Fentanyl is killing people. It's in every substance. So I want to tell you, I respect each and every single one of you that are in here right now. And not only are you in here for whatever reason you're in here for, there are so many other people that wanted to walk through that door to come. And I know that feeling, and sat in their car, turned around because they were scared. So I'm asking you, before we do our Narcan training and overdose prevention, I'm going to ask you, please learn how to prevent an overdose through Narcan kits. Please start a conversation. That's how this true partnership started. That's why I'm wearing a shirt with 2 of our partners in Charleston Center and the coroner, the solicitor's office. I can't say enough that one person might make change, but you have to have everybody within the community committed to that star. And that star is my child. That star is your person you love. And that star is all of those above that are saying they're going to work with us to make a difference, to save a life. And it starts now. So I want to welcome a really special impact speaker. Impact speakers are hard, those that have lost a loved one, to talk about why Narcan's important. Those that Narcan saved their own life or their best friend's life, are those that have all different facets to why they are the perfect impact speaker. So I ask for big ears, big hearts, for the courage this woman has that I've experienced for 7 years. She's a really bad ASS woman, an advocate in this community. So I'm going to introduce Pam. Thank you.
I talk really loudly, so I probably don't even need this microphone. I'm actually an elementary school teacher. I would first like to tell you thank you for being here, for the whole ceremony, for Light the Way for Hope, and let you know that no matter what your circumstances are, no matter how dark it is, no matter what the voices in your head are telling you, there is always hope, always. I'd also like to tell you that I'm the mom of an addict. I had a really good friend tell me recently, you don't look like the mom of an addict. You don't fit the role. You don't look you don't look like what people think you should look like. But this is what we look like. So if you're wondering what the mom of an addict looks like, it's me. We're teachers, we're doctors, we're architects, we're you. So please know that, like she said and Orbit said, we do need to reduce that stigma because there's so many people that need help that just won't say it. I'm glad you're here because also the theme for the Narcan training is together we can, and together is what we have to be to help fight this crisis and to help spread awareness. My son is struggling. I think Nancy was wrong with 8. I think we're probably on year 10 now. I've known her for about 8. The way I knew her is, as I said, I'm a teacher, and when we were building our new school, we were housed at Old Wando, and all I knew was Creighton had cups that showed his lacrosse number on the fence. And so I didn't know her, didn't know anything about Creighton. And I asked them, like, what are those numbers? And they told me, and it hurt my heart. But at that time, I didn't know anything really about addiction. My son's dream was to play college football, and he did, and had an injury. They gave him opioids, and turned out he really liked them. So there was the beginning of our struggle. My daughters went to school with Nancy's other children, and all I knew was the cups on the fence. I said, please find me the lady with the cups on the fence because I have to talk to her. And that's how I found her. Why should you be here for Narcan? My youngest daughter's sitting here. She's 21. She used Narcan 3 weeks ago at a restaurant because somebody had been to a wedding and did something they didn't know they had done. They used and it had something that they didn't know, and people knew she carries it. All both my daughters carry it. I have it, and they started yelling for her, and she ran and got her Narcan and was able to bring it back. My son, Narcan has saved my son 5 times that I know of. Twice in ICU. Last year he was actually dead 2 times. It took 9 Narcans in April to bring him back, and he went to cardiac arrest in July. And I sat and watched his heartbeat, thanks to Narcan. Back to the saying, there's always hope. If you had asked me this, a year and a half ago, I would have held on to that hope if my child would be breathing. He is breathing, and he's been breathing for 14 months because of Narcan. So never give up. Never ever give up. Because one of Nancy's favorite things to say is where there's breath, there's hope, and that every breath counts and every step forward counts, and it does. Because every day he seemed to get just a little better and a little better and a little better. And of course, in this world, sometimes we create a little record for ourselves with getting in trouble with the law. And he's now working with his sober living house to start cleaning his record and build his life back. So never, ever give up. And if you have the chance to give Narcan to anybody to get them trained, everybody needs it because we need to give these people a chance to rebuild their lives. Maybe if everybody would have had more Narcan, maybe we wouldn't have so many backs here tonight. But I just want to thank you again for being here, spreading the word. And if anybody is in here struggling, I'm part of the Moms Group at Wake Up Carolina. It's in Mount Pleasant every Thursday night. We would love to help you in any way we can. And she also has it in Monk's Corner on Tuesday nights. But again, thank you so much, and we're so glad you're here.
Okay, Narcan training, overdose prevention, right? That's why we're in here.
Yep.
So I'm going to say, let's go to Charleston Center, let's get some people trained and equipped.
Hi, everybody. My name is Bridget Pickle. I'm a clinical counselor with the Charleston Center, working with the residential unit. And again, I thank you all for being here as well. So we're going to jump into it. We're going to talk about a few different things, okay? We're going to talk about what Narcan is, what an overdose is, what that may look like, and then what we're going to do for post-Narcan, okay? I will say at the end, we are going to give a demonstration. And I'm saying this as a warning, if that may be traumatic for anyone, or bring back anything and you need to get up and step out, please do so, okay? But it is important for us to kind of walk through it and actually see what this would look like, I think, okay? So overdose education and Narcan administration training. I guess I should introduce. This is Kat. She's going to be our lovely demonstrator. is not is our crack, cocaine, methamphetamines, amphetamines, Seroquel, Neurotin or gabapentin, Wellbutrin, Phenergan, benzos. That's one that is typically confused with. So your benzos would be like Ativan, Klonopin, Valium, all of those things. That's some examples of it. And what they do is they minimize the perception of pain. They stimulate the reward center in the brain. It is a depressant. The scope of the opioid epidemic. How often do you guys think overdose occurs in Charleston County? It's like throw out a number.
Every 4 minutes.
Ooh, okay. All right, thank you. Every 8 hours. Every 8 hours, which is still crazy. That's a crazy number, right?
Yeah. 3 a day.
Okay. How does it occur and how to respond? So, how does an overdose occur? This would look like something like deliberate misuse, taking medications prescribed for someone else. And I think this is really important because I remember back in the day being young and somebody would be like, oh, my knee hurts. And grandma would be like, tell everybody I got something in the counter or in the bathroom, right? And we still hear that. We hear neighbors say it. We hear other people say it. I got something for you. And bam, that's how it can start. A dosing error when mixing opioids with alcohol and mixing opioids with other meds, more specifically with benzos, so like Ativan, Valium, Klonopin, those types of things. Who's at risk? So those who are at risk would be people who are in long-term pain management, people who struggle with cancer or chronic pain, people using heroin or fentanyl, also having a known or legitimate medical need for pain medication, but a history of substance use. Those who are being discharged from emergency medical care following an opioid overdose, and having a lower tolerance. And that can take place after someone attends treatment or goes through a long period of abstinence or detox or anything like that. Mixing various drugs, opioids and benzos, and just overall poor physical health. So we need to be prepared to recognize an opioid emergency. And when Kat comes up here to demonstrate, I'm going to go back to this slide, okay? So unusual sleepiness or unresponsiveness, skin feels cold and clammy, breathing will be slow or absent, slowed heartbeat or low blood pressure, nails and lips are blue, and pupils are tiny or pinpoint pupils. Now that doesn't mean that all of these signs or symptoms you're going to see, okay? So step one, we're going to let's look at signs of over-medication. We just looked at the overdose there. Unusual sleepiness, drowsiness, despite loud reverberal stimulus or sternal rub. We're going to demonstrate that. I think at times we wait till we feel like the person's in a full overdose before we give Narcan, and we do not have to do that. Okay? Mental confusion, slurred speech, intoxicated behavior, slow or shallow breathing, slow heartbeat, and or low blood pressure, and difficult waking the person up from sleep. All right. This is what Narcan looks like. They are in these kits up here as well. They will look like this. Okay. We'll demonstrate what it looks like to actually spray it. There's 2 sprays in each box. That means there's 2 doses. Okay. One of these is 1 dose, and then we have a second dose. Okay. And you just heard her talk about her son having 9 doses. So you got to think about that, doing that 9 times. This is safe to administer to pregnant people, or pregnant females, excuse me. Also, it is safe for animals and children. I will say that I have literally Narcan a dog. Okay? Twice. So, it's safe, and it brought the dog back. Seriously. All right. Step 3. So step 2, 3, and 4, we can kind of do all together, okay? A lot of times we have a cell phone on us, so while I'm getting ready to administer Narcan, I can also be calling 911, or I can yell out and say, hey, call 911. What I want to say is, someone is unresponsive and not breathing, I'm gonna ask them to bring Narcan and tell them where I'm at. Step 4, watch and give. I'm gonna wait 2 to 3 minutes before I administer a second dose. Okay, I'm gonna watch for 2 to 3 minutes to see if this first dose will work. If I need to, I'll begin rescue breathing and providing another dose within 2 to 3 minutes. So, when I'm doing rescue breathing, if that's something that, if you have a rescue mask, I should say, or if you choose to do rescue breathing, you want to check, make sure the airway is clear, make sure that there's nothing in the mouth. And you do something called a head tilt chin lift method, and we're going to demonstrate this. I'm going to put my left hand on top of the forehead, the other hand on the chin, and do a head tilt chin lift. I'll give 2 rescue breaths. When I do that, I will make sure that the chest rises. If I do not see this chest rise, then I need to re-tilt the head just to make sure the airway is open. And then I'll follow up with 1 breath every 5 seconds. All right, step 5. This is a very, very important piece of the puzzle, okay? So after I give the Narcan, it's going to last for 30 to 90 minutes. That means that an overdose can reoccur, okay? Somebody can go right back into an overdose. So we want to make sure that we continue to monitor this person, more specifically if the EMS gets on the scene. All patients should be monitored for reoccurrence of signs and symptoms of opioid toxicity for at least 4 hours from the last dose in the naloxone. If the person is breathing, after we give Narcan, we're going to put them in the recovery position. This is what that looks like. And thanks to Kat, she is going to do that for us. All right, how does naloxone and Narcan work? So basically, opioids attach to the brain receptors that minimize pain and also affect breathing. Naloxone reverses the effects of opioids by binding more strongly to the same receptors, basically knocking off the drugs on those sites. It only works for opioids. The important part is, though, if I do not know, and somebody may be in an alcohol overdose or have alcohol poisoning, and I think it could be opiates, I'm not going to try and guess. I still can give Narcan. It's not going to affect them. It's not going to hurt them. Better safe than sorry. It does not have potential for abuse, and there is no statistics that say that this increases somebody's substance use. Post Narcan, everyone's going to wake up slightly different, okay? Some people may puke. Violent reactions associated to naloxone are rare. Most people are disoriented and they're unaware that they just had an overdose. So you want to make sure you're talking calmly, make sure everybody stays calm around them. That's going to make sure that the patient also stays calm. And explain to them what just took place. And make sure they do not ingest any more drugs. The likelihood of overdosing again depends on several different things. Some of those would be how much drug was used in the first place, the half-life of that drug, how well the liver works to process things, and if the person ingests more drugs. All right, so we'll do a recap here of the do's and don'ts. I do want to support the person's breathing by performing rescue breaths and Narcan. I want to call 911. I want to put the person in the recovery position, and I want to stay with them until EMS gets there. What I do not want to do is slap the person. I do not want to pull a Pulp Fiction and stab them in the heart with a needle. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to try to drag them into the bathtub and put them in cold water. We're not doing any of that stuff, okay? And also, do not try to make this person vomit. Do not try to make them throw up. Some quick little things about it: proper storage and expiration. You want to keep it between 36 degrees to 77. Nothing above 104. I'll tell you, those construction workers, people who work in the heat all day, they carry these and they still work most of the time. Okay. I keep one in my purse. I keep one in my car. I keep one in my house. I keep it everywhere, and I'm still going to use it if I have to use it. up to a pharmacy without prescription and get Narcan. Also, something to note is I can get this at any age, and I do not have to have an ID, or present an ID to get this. Good Samaritan law, we just heard him talk about this. It was enacted in 2017 to protect the caregiver who gives naloxone to a person whom the caregiver believes is in good faith, is experiencing an opioid overdose from civil or criminal liability. It provides criminal immunity to a person who calls the police or 911 to assist someone who is overdosing in an effort to save their life. Like you was just talking about, cleaning up the scene, right? If we could have got somebody there sooner, it might have been a different outcome. All right. We are gonna do a demonstration now. Come, Jordan. Okay, so let me go back. I want to put these sentences up here. Okay, so say I come up on Cat and I see these signs and sentences. I'm like, oh, I know it's an opioid overdose. I'm gonna come down and I'm gonna do something called a sternum rub, okay? That means I'm gonna take my knuckles and I'm gonna put it in her chest and I'm gonna grind. I'm gonna grind. And it's painful, okay? And that's what you wanna do. I'm gonna take that, wake up, come on. I'm doing sternum rub. I'm not gonna slap her, I'm not gonna do any of those things, okay? I can also be calling 911 while I get my Narcan ready. So, I'm gonna put my thumb on the plunger, it's the red piece right here. I'm gonna take my index finger and my middle finger and put it next to the nozzle. You do not have to grind this. Do not squirt it before you try and give it because there's only one dose in here, okay? I can take any nostril that I want to use. I'm gonna pick this one that's closest to me. I would give Cat a dose, okay? I'm not gonna do it. So I stick it up there and so her, the end of her nostrils touch my fingers, and I'm gonna give the dose, okay? And I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. I'm gonna wait that 2 to 3 minutes. I'm still gonna be, come on, Cat, wake up for me, wake up, right? Trying to get her to become alert. Say she does it, and she is breathing, she's just unresponsive, she's not waking up. In 2 to 3 minutes, I'm going to give another dose, okay? That means I'm gonna open up the other one that's in the box. I have 2 in a box. I'm gonna open up the second one. I'm going to put it in the opposite nostril that I just used, okay? Now I'm give it to her again. The person who used to teach this said the most she had seen in one setting was 17. That is a lot. So, and I will continue to do that, okay? Now, Cat's breathing. I'm gonna put her in something called the rescue position. The easiest way to do this is the arm that is closest to me, I'm gonna bring to a 45-degree angle. The hand that's opposite of me, I'm gonna bring up and I'm gonna put the back of her hand to the side of her face that's closest to me. And it sounds like a lot of young pieces, but it's not, I promise. The knee that is opposite of me, I'm gonna bring up to 90-degree angle and I'm gonna grab it. This will assist to make sure that she does not inhale, vomit, aspirate, anything like that, okay? This also good for somebody who's had too much to drink, put them in this position. Let me show you this real quick and then I'll end and we'll see if you have any questions. There is handouts up here as well. Alright, so this is what it looks like. Rip the box open, take it out. Again, my thumb is on the plunger, pointer finger, middle finger is next to the nozzle. Dose is administered, okay? And you can notice I did not have to prime, I didn't have to do any of that. Alright, so any questions about it? Yes, sir. And if I'm unable to answer it, then we have the experts in the back.
How long did between the two did you wait?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, sorry, go ahead.
How long did you wait from the first administration?
2 to 3 minutes.
That's it.
2 to 3 minutes. Yeah.
What are the odds of them going into cardiac arrest?
I'm not sure on that.
Well, I'd like to make it a point. I teach CPR,
Okay.
and when we teach the healthcare professionals, and we talk about naloxone and everything like that. The second thing, if you haven't had a chance, you need to learn at least hands-only CPR.
Yes.
If you want to check for a pulse, and if there's no pulse, there may be no breathing, but if there's no pulse, you've got to start pumping blood and call for an AED immediately, because you've got to move some blood around in that body for a while, and you really are going to have to push really hard in order to make a difference on it. You may have to crack a few ribs or something when you do that. But I'm saying, if you think you've got a problem with somebody, you need to know how to do CPR. And there's plenty of classes around available, but you want to do that.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have to like feel to their head about it? Do you put the Narcan in so that it kind of reaches in?
Yeah, you can do it right there.
You can, but it's not required. The membranes inside the sinuses are going to help transfer it very quickly. But if you do choke it, there's no harm done. It just helps spread it.
If I could just comment on what the gentleman said about the CPR training. Obviously, there's no substitute for training, but the dispatch center, they're trained and they're going to walk them through as best they can. It is best to get trained yourself, but they're also going to walk you through the dispatch.
That's the important calling 911, so they're talking you through, because we all can get trained and feel like we know what we're doing, but to have someone talking you through over the phone in a confident, like stable, safe way really helps you if you talk about all of this. It just really helps from your perspective.
Right, put it on speakerphone, they can do that while you're staying for patient. What's the, I didn't catch what was the expiration date on the document? It used to be 3 years, it's 4 years now. 4 years.
I was looking at the chart and it said you would be protected from civil and criminal liability. Does the civil liability refer to if you in good faith administer Narcan to someone, maybe they weren't really overdosing, and then they turn around and say, you hurt me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that was one piece, but the other piece is, I caregave to my mother and my mom with brain cancer until she passed. And it makes me wonder, folks who caregive in their homes and their loved ones taking towards the end of life some heavy medications. I didn't have Narcan in my home, and it makes me wonder, maybe this is also good to educate folks who are in that caregiver role.
Absolutely, and a lot of times now when opiates are prescribed, they will also prescribe Narcan and provide that to the caregiver.
Yeah, I noticed you put up there that you can go to the pharmacy and get them. I think the last time I was at a pharmacy, I don't know if it's changed recently, but they actually charge for them. And isn't there I know there's plenty of places around you can go get it for free.
Right, that's why we're here, because we're a community distributor, so we plan on giving you Narcan.
Yeah.
Supposedly insurance will pay for it also. I have been told that Blue Cross will give you 2 free Narcan from a pharmacy a year. I haven't tested it. But I would also encourage anybody with your insurance to go to the pharmacy and see. That's one of the things that we also have to work on, being an advocate for insurance to cover this and save people's lives.
Yes, thank you.
Can I share something real quick? If you go to justplainkillers.org, it's a strange website, justplainkillers.org. It has a list of all the community distributors in the entire state. So we'll get a call from someone in Newberry wanting to know, and so then we'll go to that website and tell them, certified community distributors like Charleston Center, like Favor Low Country, like Mount Pleasant, like Wake Up, like the Corners. I mean, there are a number in the Tri-County area that, so it's a strange website. Think about it, Google it, find anybody that
Just clean.
free.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you raise awareness for like people in
But just even educating youth tonight, you pass it on. You pass it on, right? It starts with us. We're just providing that education is where it's at. It really is. And you're gonna get an arcane kid. Right? And explain it. That can take some of the stigma away as well.
It's like Pam was saying, her daughter was in a restaurant and everybody knew that she had it. Well, after she had it and used it and they saw that this person's overdose was reversed, then a lot of people in that particular restaurant wanted to get Narcan as well to be equipped. And so I'm just stressing with everyone that we can point fingers where all it is, but it happens absolutely everywhere, and to be equipped is the most important and critical thing to understand how to use it, because I would say the majority, half of the people we have trained, collectively, and I think y'all might feel the same way, Narcan is used on a complete stranger. So there is no stigma in getting Narcan, and let people know that. The majority of Narcan used reversing overdose is not on someone they know, and that's what we all experience. Right, Kelly?
Yep. Also, people are concerned, talking about stigma, that if you're offering them Narcan, you're saying they're an addict or they're going to overdose.
Yes.
So we constantly remind them, you can't Narcan yourself. So this is for you to save someone's life.
Any other questions? All right, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. Okay, so Charleston Center, y'all gonna get here to help get out Narcan? Okay, if you want to get a Narcan test, just do your best to take a line on either side and it'll be distributed. We're going to exit out this door only, so do not go out the back door. This is the only door out to go to the luminary. Just stressing that because you can trip and fall back there. So this is the door. Any outside.
If you have a friend or a loved one that also needs one, you can have one.